When God is about to place something big in your life, it almost never looks the way you expect. Before the blessing comes the pruning, before the platform comes the wilderness. And it's in those uncomfortable seasons that He shapes you to carry the weight of what's coming. If lately you felt doors closing, ties breaking, or a restlessness you can't shake, that might not be the end. It may be preparation. Stay with me until the end, because today you'll see how to wait, act, and walk through this season with faith, so you're ready when the promise arrives. My name is John Garcia, and you're watching the Napoleon Hill channel. If this message resonates with you, hit that subscribe button. Every day I bring fresh content to help you become unstoppable on your journey. Drop a comment below and tell me what city you're watching from. I'd love to know your story. Here's a native, human-sounding rewrite that preserves the structure and keeps the length close, organized in flowing paragraphs as in your transcript. When God is about to place something big in your hands, it rarely arrives the way you pictured. The road to greatness is almost always laid with struggle, challenge, and moments of deep uncertainty. In life, there are no shortcuts to real success, and there's no easy trail to the dreams you carry in your heart. When God prepares to bless you, He rarely just hands it over. Instead, He shapes you into someone who can carry the weight of that gift. That shaping is rarely comfortable. You'll feel stretched beyond what you thought were your limits. Things you used to cling to may start to fall away. Old habits will crack. Relationships will shift. Your world can feel unsteady and out of order. But hear this. It's exactly in those uncomfortable spaces that God is at work, refining you, strengthening you, and equipping you for what's ahead. When God is about to entrust you with something significant, He doesn't drop it into your lap. He prepares you for it. Often that preparation looks like pruning, like stripping away the unnecessary so you can carry the weight of what He's about to pour into your life. You may not understand it in the moment, but the pain, the pressure, the loss, it's all part of the process. As a tree is pruned to yield more fruit, you go through personal refinement to handle the greatness that's on the way. In this season, you'll face tests of patience, of faith, of endurance. At times, you'll feel discouraged and wonder if the promise of something better will ever materialize. Remember, God does not test you to crush you. He tests you to build you. He allows these challenges because He knows you can overcome them. He believes in you even when you struggle to believe in yourself. Waiting, feeling stalled or stuck, does not mean time is wasted. God is teaching you patience, trust, and dependence on Him. Look at the greatest stories of breakthrough in Scripture and in our world, and you'll see a pattern. Before the elevation comes a season of waiting, of preparation, and often of hardship. David spent years in the wilderness, hunted by Saul, rejected by many. Yet God was shaping a king who would lead a nation. Joseph was sold, imprisoned, and forgotten, yet all of it was preparing the man who would help save nations. Great leaders aren't formed in comfort. They are forged in adversity. When God is about to give you something big, He will also remove certain things and sometimes certain people. Doors will close you thought would stay open. Opportunities will seem to slip away. In those moments, trust that God knows what you cannot see. He's removing distractions, trimming influences that weigh you down, and shifting circumstances that would keep you from stepping into the fullness of your calling. You may feel lonely or left behind, but in that solitude, God is training your focus, preparing you to step into a future that will demand your whole heart, full attention, and steady trust. Another sign that God is preparing you for more is the stirring in your spirit, a holy restlessness that won't let you settle. It's a longing for something beyond your current horizon. It's a deep, unshakable sense that you were made for more than what you're living right now. You might not even be able to name it, but you can feel the shift, like standing on the edge of a new chapter where everything is about to change. That stirring, that discomfort, is God preparing your heart for His plan. You'll also notice that what used to satisfy no longer does. The things that once brought peace now feel thin. Priorities you chased begin to dim because God is aligning your desires with His will. What truly matters, purpose, passion, calling, comes into sharp focus. In these moments, cling to your faith even when you can't see the outcome. God's timing is always precise. What you don't realize yet is that these very struggles are training you for a greater purpose. They are the proving ground that forms the person capable of stewarding the blessing on the other side. If you can endure this season with patience and trust, you'll come out stronger, wiser, and ready. And when God is about to give you something big, He provides strength and wisdom, but He also calls you to move. Faith without action is empty. God will nudge you to take steps even when nothing seems to be happening. This is where obedience matters. Step out in faith even without all the answers, even when the path is foggy. God does not reward hesitation, but He honors obedience. He blesses those who trust His timing and act in step with His will. So when life feels difficult, uncertain, and uncomfortable, don't lose heart. These are often the markers that God is preparing to entrust you with more. Embrace the preparation, trust the process, walk forward into the future He's shaping for you. His blessings are coming, and you'll be ready to carry them with grace, wisdom, and strength. When God sets out to bless you in a significant way, the journey almost always begins with challenges. That's not an accident. It's part of His design. Receiving something substantial is rarely a smooth path. In the struggle, God is not breaking you down. He is building you up. Hardships and discomfort aren't signs that God has abandoned you. They are signs that He is preparing you. Like an athlete who trains before the game, or an artist who refines for countless hours before the show, we are shaped by trials so we can carry the blessing. These trials, whether personal loss, financial pressure, relational strain, or self-doubt, are not meant to defeat you. They are meant to form you into who you must become to run your race well. As gold is refined by fire, your character, resilience, and faith are refined in the heat of life's tests. When the pressure feels unbearable, remember, God is using it to mold someone who won't just survive, but thrive in the greatness ahead. Today's discomfort is the pressure that forms diamonds. When you feel like you can't keep going, when the weight feels too heavy, remember, you're being prepared for something beyond what you can see. The struggle is not random, it's purposeful. It's teaching you perseverance, patience, and grit, qualities you will need when the blessing arrives. We often pray for the easy road, a smooth ascent, dreams fulfilled without resistance. But if everything arrived without preparation, we wouldn't be ready to carry it. God's blessings require a person capable of holding them, and that person is forged in challenge. We celebrate the outcomes, the success, the platform, the answered prayer, and forget there was a price, faith, character, and the refusal to quit when it's tough. Trials not only test our strength, they grow our faith. When mountains loom, we learn to lean not on ourselves but on God's strength and guidance. In the middle of the storm, we discover trust. We learn to depend on Him when we can't stand on our own. That trust is what prepares us to steward what He gives. Without it, we'd squander the gift. With it, we honor the giver. Whatever season you're in, no matter how hard it feels, is a stepping stone to something greater. Discomfort doesn't mean you're failing. It often means God is building you. When the doors finally open and the promise takes shape, you'll be equipped to carry it and to honor God with it in ways you couldn't before. So don't despise the struggle or curse the discomfort. Embrace it, because in the end you'll see it was the path that left you stronger, more capable, and more blessed than you imagined. As God prepares you for extraordinary things, He often starts by pruning, removing people, patterns, and situations that no longer align with the purpose ahead. In some seasons, you'll experience unexpected endings. Relationships fade. Opportunities you thought were essential suddenly close. At first, it can feel like abandonment or loss. But what if those shifts aren't rejection at all? What if they're alignment? Pruning is necessary for growth. A gardener cuts away dead or overgrown branches not to harm the plant, but to help it bear more fruit. In the same way, God prunes to strengthen you and make room for new growth. Some people and patterns can't go with you to the next level. God allows certain things to be removed so you can receive what's next. These losses, though painful, are not the end of your story. They are part of God's design to ready you for what's coming. God sees the future, opportunities, challenges, and the people assigned to your next season. Some relationships served, say purpose, but are not meant to continue. Sometimes God must cut away what's holding you back so you can step fully into your calling. This isn't about rejection, it's about elevation. Picture your life like a runner's load. If you're carrying too much, you can't move freely and you certainly can't run with purpose. Pruning lightens your load and sharpens your focus. It clears the path so you can move with clarity. When God removes something or someone, He's making room for something better. It may not feel that way at first, especially when you seem to be left with less, but God knows what you need. What He's removing was never meant to be permanent. He has more ahead, but you must make space for it. We hold on because we fear the unknown. We don't want to let go. But God never takes without intending to fill. It may take time, but the blessing after pruning is worth the wait. You'll discover what felt like a loss was actually a divine rearrangement, an essential shift to align you with His greater plan. God isn't in the business of leaving you empty. His aim is always abundance. First, though, He removes the excess, the distractions and dead weight, so you can receive what He has. When you notice pruning in your life, recognize it as preparation, not punishment. It's not about losing, it's about making room. In these seasons, release with trust. Believe that every subtraction is a setup, every removal a divine reordering. God's purpose is too important to let you remain surrounded by what stunts your growth. Trust His plan. He's creating space for something extraordinary. There will be times when the road ahead is unclear, when the path you thought you were on blurs and the future sits behind a veil. It's easy then to feel lost or discouraged. You'll question whether you're on the right track and whether you'll make it through. Remember this: when the way is obscure, anchor your faith in God's timing. His plan for your life is far bigger than what you can see. It's easy to be consumed by immediate problems and unknowns, yet those are often the very tools God uses to guide you toward the larger purpose He designed for you. In confusion, God's timing is perfect. He doesn't rush or stall. He isn't careless. His plan is exact and fitted to your life and His purpose. Trusting His timing isn't easy in a world addicted to instant results. We want answers now. We dislike waiting. The longer the wait, the harder it is to keep faith. But God's timing doesn't bow to our schedules. His ways are higher. His thoughts are deeper. When everything feels slow and nothing seems to move, know this: God is never idle. He is preparing circumstances, aligning people and setting the stage for the right moment. Scripture says He makes everything beautiful in its time. Think of Joseph, sold into slavery, falsely accused, imprisoned for years. Yet when the time was right, God lifted him up to save many. Had it come sooner, he would not have been ready. God's timing shaped him for the role he would fill. Perhaps your journey feels like setbacks and delays. Doors close just when you want to move. God's delay is not denial. He's working behind the scenes, refining you. Waiting is not wasted. It's where faith deepens, character grows, and strength matures. Trusting God's timing means surrendering your limited view to His full picture. He is never late, never early, always right. On time, lean into His timing. Release the need to control. Surrender fears and impatience. Let Him lead. At the right moment, He opens doors no one can shut. One day you'll look back and see that everything unfolded as it needed to, and you'll be grateful for the waiting. God is faithful. His timing is perfect. He is preparing you for more than you can imagine and will guide you step by step right on time. Every believer eventually feels a stirring, a quiet inner nudge for more than the life they're currently living. It isn't dissatisfaction for its own sake. It's the whisper of God's Spirit urging you into the fullness of His purpose. That spark marks the beginning of transformation. This stirring is a sign that God is moving in you and preparing you for something larger than you've imagined. At first, the desire may feel awkward or hard to explain. You grow restless with routine. A steady, persistent voice says, "There's more." It's not a hunger for status or applause. It's a holy longing for God's plan to unfold in new ways. When this stirring rises, we can become anxious or impatient. We ask, why do I feel like this? Understand, the stirring is a gift. It's God's way of showing He's at work, preparing your next chapter. He's placed a unique calling on your life, and the desire for more is the first step toward it. This inner pull pushes you beyond complacency, beyond the limits of your current situation. You start to think, I was made for more purpose, more passion, deeper fulfillment. That's God preparing your heart for what He has planned. God doesn't stir without a plan. He doesn't awaken desire without a pathway. The drawing you feel to grow in faith, expand your influence, serve more, attempt what seems beyond your reach, reflects a design He wrote specifically for you. When you feel the stirring, it's time to act. It's an invitation to leave the comfort of what's familiar and step into the unknown, trusting God to guide. The stirring carries a challenge. Rise above the comfort zone that has kept you still. God is inviting you into something bigger, out of the ordinary and into the extraordinary. That longing is a divine call to stretch, to take bold steps, to reach higher. The journey won't always be smooth. It will require effort, sacrifice, and the willingness to release the old to embrace the new. But what God has ahead exceeds what you can imagine. When He stirs your heart, He is preparing you to see dreams and purposes He planted long ago come to life. If you're feeling that pull today, don't ignore it. Lean in. Let it move you forward into the life God is calling you to. He is faithful to finish what He begins. That longing is a promise. He's leading you to a life of purpose, abundance, and impact. Trust His timing and step into the greatness He's preparing. The best is still ahead. Finally, when God is preparing to bless you with more than you imagined, one of the most powerful responses is obedience in action, even when the path is unclear. That's hard for most of us. Uncertainty breeds fear and doubt. We want timelines and details, but often God unfolds His plan step by step, asking us to trust Him enough to move without seeing the whole picture. Obedience isn't about knowing everything in advance. It's about a willing heart that says yes even when the future is hazy. Think of Abraham, called to leave what he knew for a land God would show him. He didn't have the map. He had a promise, and he went. His obedience opened the way to blessings he couldn't have imagined. Obedience is a key that unlocks blessing. God isn't looking for perfection or complete understanding. He's looking for willingness. You can still have questions, but you decide to trust that God's wisdom exceeds your own, and His plan is for your good even when it's hard to see. God rarely gives the entire blueprint at once. He gives enough light for the next step so your faith can grow. Obedience without full understanding is a bold declaration of trust. When you move, you're saying, God, I trust you even when I can't see. Lead, and I'll follow. Action matters too. Feeling stirred isn't enough. Faith requires movement. Faith without works is dead. Obedience isn't passive waiting. It's advancing in the direction God points, even before every detail is clear. Think of Peter on the water. Jesus called, and Peter stepped out while the storm still raged. As long as his eyes stayed on Jesus, he walked in faith. God is calling you to step out of the boat toward the greater things He has for you, even in choppy waters. Your obedience and action will determine whether you walk on the waves of faith or sink into doubt. God may not hand you the entire plan, but He'll give you the next step and the strength to take it. He blesses willingness. When you act in obedience, He sees your faith and meets you in it. Your yes is a seed that grows into more than you can imagine. He will guide, strengthen, and open the right doors. He's not asking you to have it all figured out before you move. He's asking you to trust Him enough to move anyway, to rise in courage, follow His lead, and let Him fulfill His promises as you obey. So take the step. Don't wait for perfect conditions or complete clarity. Step out in faith and watch God work, leading you into a future far greater than you envisioned. Your life is in His hands, and He will guide you every step of the way. Today, I challenge you to take one step of obedience in the middle of uncertainty. Share in the comments, what is God pruning in your life right now? A habit, a distraction, a relationship? What will your next step of faith be? A call, an application, a project asking for forgiveness? Declare you're waiting with purpose. Write a sentence you'll repeat for 7 days. For example, my waiting is not wasted, it's preparation. Tomorrow I'll come back and read through your comments, and I'll pick a few of you to personally respond and pray for by name. The truth is, blessings don't just fall into your lap. God first transforms you into the person who can sustain them. Pruning hurts, but it multiplies fruit. Silence doesn't mean abandonment, it's alignment. When your old desires lose their shine, God is reshaping your appetite for purpose. And when the road seems foggy, remember, His clock is always on time. Hold fast, endure, and move in obedience, because faith isn't just believing, it's walking forward when you can't see the whole map. If this message lifted you up, give it a like, share it with someone who's in their wilderness season, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss what's next. In the next episode, we'll dive into how to tell the difference between God's pruning and self-sabotage, with practical signs, biblical examples, and a 5-minute exercise to bring you clarity. See you there.